Tina Stitches. Welcome to my channel. This is cross stitch channel. We call it Flosstube. Yeah, you're gonna find almost everything cross stitch. So if that's what you're here for, great. If not, maybe you'll want to check it out. If not, sorry. Glad you stopped by. Yeah, welcome to everybody who's returning, and welcome anybody who's new. I always find that intros awkward, so yeah, let's just get into what we're here for. Today is Sunday, March the 16th, and it is early afternoon, like always. Well, 3:30. Not so early. So, yeah. It's been about 3 weeks since my last video. And I have a few things to catch you up on. I was pretty quick in my last video, and I did not show you a couple of things, so I will show you those as well. Some of the projects that I worked on in the last 3 weeks did not get a whole lot of progress, and I'll show them to you anyways. I got some haul. I had haul in the last video. My husband's Christmas presents came, you know, late, but I don't think I'm gonna go through all of those. There is one that I will share because I made another order and got more haul, so I'll show you all of that haul and, you know, the bits and pieces that are relevant for stuff. So, yeah. I guess I'll address the elephant in the room. Did I finish the sleigh? Because when I last recorded, I thought I was done, but I noticed I wasn't. So this is the Sleigh by Nora Corbett. Mirabilia, yeah. And it is finished. Happy to report all of the beads are in now. Those were the last ones. So, yeah. It is completely finished. This was stitched on 32 count Nocturne Belfast linen. And that's the last time I have to remember that. I swapped out all the beads on this project for Delicas or Japan bugle beads. These were supposed to be just gold regular beads. I changed them to the bugle beads. Yeah, and other Delica beads as appropriate color match. I talked about this one a lot more in my last video. Yeah, specifically about the color of the beads and the color of the thread that I use, and yeah, so I won't go on about that again. So that one's finished. I left it in the Q-snap because I don't have my name actually signed on it. I didn't sign any of the reindeer either. I should at least put the year and the year on the sleigh, because I think that it'll tie it all together. You know, you can refer to the sleigh to see. I believe Rudolph was the first one that I finished. I don't think I put a date on it. Maybe I should look that up and do that, and then then there'll be a real reference, right? Yeah, so the 1st of March is my son's birthday, and I always try to work on this project in that month because it's a big project that he gave to me, and I love it, and I want to work on it lots, but you know how things are. The only, well, I mean, I say I love it, and I do, but I don't love the fabric. And this is Permin 1823, Sampler 1823 by Permin of Copenhagen. It's the kit. I'm using the kit fabric, the kit floss. Here's what it looked like when you saw it last. And here it is now. And as you can see, not a whole lot of difference. This is the right side portion of the chart, and this is the center set of pages, and about there is the page break to go up. And so I wanted to fill in this bit here so that I knew it was right, because I went a little bit rogue here. I did the dog, and then I went that way, and then I went all the way over and then started up. And I thought, well, I better fill in some gap here so that I know the placement is right. So that's basically all that I stitched. I stitched on it for about 3 days, in addition to the mandatory stitching that I have to do. Yeah, that's right, I said mandatory. It's only mandatory in that I make it mandatory. So is it really mandatory? Monopoly stitching and my snow day stitching. Those are what I call mandatory. So the next one that I'm going to show you, it's here somewhere. Beautitudes. My big toe is the designer for this. And here's where it was when you last saw it. I don't think I worked on this one really recently, but I'm sure that I worked on it since the last video. And I would like to work on it more. This is one of those ones that I really want to get this one done soon. This is my next to be finished, I think, because I am that close. Literally just have to put in Kingdom of Heaven and the rest of the border, and this will be finished. It is a little bit, well, it's a little bit of dense stitching. But that's it. That's the only bit left to do. And I'm stitching this on 22 count Hardanger, which is similar to Ada. It's a little bit softer and it splits. It's not that it splits easier, but it bunches up easier. Because Hardanger is meant to be pulled together and manipulated. This is, yeah, just be careful. It's like Ada, but don't be so tight with it. But yeah, just white Hardanger that I had in my stash with threads that my son got me because they were on my wish list, and some cranberry that I had in my stash by Gentle Arts. But anytime I ordered new to finish this, because I ran out, or I was very close to running out, I kept, you know, a couple strands, and I ordered more, didn't match, dye lot, big issue, and so I had to dye my own to finish and so I have more than enough to finish. I just took some DMC 814, I think, and wine Rit dye to make my own red to match the cranberry that was already in the piece. So yeah, I think that if I really pushed myself, I could get this one done soon. So I try to keep it down by the chair where I sit and stitch, but other obligations kind of determine what I stitch. Yeah. All I hear are excuses. So I'm going to save the full coverage for later. So we got that. Alright, so obligations. Where is it? So stocking. This is one that I want to get finished this year. I want to have it finished and assembled and given away to the person that it's intended for. It's a beautiful stocking. I have quite a bit of it finished, and it doesn't feel like it because of where it is placed in the Q-snap. Here's where it was when you last saw it. And here it is now. And yeah, it feels like I have so much more to go, except I'm just about past all of that red bow. And then I'm about there. And then it's mostly just brown stitching. Yeah, I think I've, you know, that's, I'm gonna say I'm halfway. At least halfway. And I'm trying to backstitch as I go. So this last round I went back and I put in some of that backstitching on this side here, and the couching on the ribbon, which really gives it dimension. Okay. So, sorry about that. It is now a few hours later. Yeah. 5:30. So we had company stop in. So anyways, kind of thrown off of where I am, but I believe I was saying this is a possible finish this year. That's my hopes. And yeah. So the other things that I worked on. So I am in a little bit of a challenge with Kim and Amy and Gail. Gail's Golden Needle and Amy is Mimi's Stitchery, and Kim is not doing Flosstube right now. So you can check out their previous videos, I believe, for Kim and her daughter Sarah at Stitch and Stuff. But we get together every Sunday morning and we roll the dice for Monopoly game that we created these rules, and we try to stitch our focus project for the week, kind of, or until we get our stitches done. And this past week was a railroad. I don't know which one. Pennsylvania Railroad, I think. And that is owned by Gail. Okay, I had to change out the battery. The battery died. Good thing I had a spare charging. Anyways, yeah, so our little group is playing a Monopoly game, and I landed on Short Line Railroad, which is now mine because I did the stitches, and Pennsylvania Railroad is what I just recently landed on because I had 2 sets of doubles, so I made it all the way around to Pennsylvania Railroad. And for my Monopoly railroads are stitch-alongs, and so I was working on the mushroom sal, and I'll do a side-by-side if possible. And I've been filling in this up here. I finished off the remaining colors down here, except for the black for his eyes, but then all of the background can be filled in. And this is actually what I am taking with me to work on my lunch hour. So there's the cover, but I did also work on the page, the only page that I started, and that's this one. And I have all the other 7 grids ready to go. I just needed some motivation to pick it up, and I'm working on it 2 weeks in a row, so we'll see how this goes. Okay. Now, what else do we got? Okay. So I have 3 more things. These are my full coverage projects. And then a finish. I don't think I mentioned at the beginning that I have a finish, but I do have a finish. Not a fully finish, but you know. So, yeah, I should have showed it at the beginning, but whatever. This I worked on at the beginning of the month, and this is one of my full coverage morning projects, and this is what it looks like when it's finished. This is the Inner Depths by Chris Ortega. That's the artwork, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And here's what it would look like. Here's what it did look like when you saw it last. And where it is now. And I've been working mostly over here. Yep. Doing as I do, my railroad method. Just working across and down. Bring it across and down. So yeah. Not a whole lot difference on this one. You can see her goggles are there now. This is boring, exciting, boring. So it's nice to get to the exciting part. But I rotate between this one and my other 2 big ones in the mornings, because otherwise they won't get done, right? Work on them a little bit. Each stitch counts. So the other full coverage that I have, which this is actually going to be moved. I'm going to move the Q-snap very soon here because I'm stitching this seasonally. This is a stitching shelf by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And here's what it'll look like when it's finished and where it was last time. Let's see if we can do it side by side. And so mostly I've just been filling in this, especially this area here, because that was a lot of confetti. And yeah, that whole scene is pretty much finished now. So, yay! I am probably really far behind on my goal to get this done in 10 years. But all progress is good progress. And one more full coverage, and then I can show you my finish. And this is the one that I'm working on currently. After I'm done my 1,000 stitches on this. So when I get it to the next 1,000 milestone, I will swap this out for a stitching shelf. And this is pretty funky. And it's Hatter by Omri Koresh, charted by Gecko Rouge. And what it would look like when it's finished, you saw, and where it was when you last saw it. And here's where we're at now. And yeah, I've been working on this side here, bringing this up past that line there. So there was a lot of confetti over here, and I've worked it up as far as I can. But yeah, and right here, that's the center mark, that black loop right above his nose. That is the center line of the whole pattern. So we're almost at 50%. And this one was started in 2019. It is my second oldest project. My oldest project is Royal Tudor Mandala. Now that all those Christmas Eve couriers and Sleigh and Dressmaker's Daughter, those are all out of the way, it's Royal Tudor Mandala. It's my oldest project. I do want to get it out and focus on it. I do intend to do that. 100 Days of Chatelaine is still part of the plan. So, yeah. So that's all the whips that I can remember. So now for the finish. The finish. Just in time for St. Patrick's Day. This is Shamrock Sampler by the Sweetheart Tree. Stitched with the called for DMC and the Mill Hill beads, except for it called for a Gentle Arts thread, I think, called Mountain something, but I didn't have that, and I wasn't going to go buy it when I have colors. I have over-dyed threads in my collection, so I decided to have a look at what I could use that match the picture. You know, what does the model look like? Will this work? And I used Roxy Floss Co's oh, you know what? I put it back up here because there is another Shamrock sampler in here. It's a smaller version, but I did the bigger version first, of course. So the Roxy color I used is Jungle Nights in place of Mountain Spruce. So that, which also reminds me a lot of Cadet, I believe. But yeah, so finished just in time for St. Patrick's Day, but I don't have a frame. I don't intend to make this into a free form anything yet, so I might pin it to this foam core and just prop it up. But I mean, it's too late really to decorate for St. Patrick's Day. But yeah, so all of the specialty stitches, beads, this thread here is not the called for metallic either. I think it called for a thinner metallic, but I had this in my stash for I don't know how long. And I thought that the thicker thread would show up better, and it does. This is a number 16 braid, 001 by Krynick. Let me tell you, this was difficult to work with, especially the way that this was done. You come up here and then you work it under those stitches. If I had been smart and I knew that this was what I wanted, I didn't know I wanted this until after I had the X's already in place, the foundation in place. Trying to get this on a needle and then weave it through those X's was quite difficult. So that's while it was on the Q-snap. But after I took it off the Q-snap to move it to do something, I decided, since it's off and the fabric can flex, I'll see if I can move the needle under the X's now. And so I was able to do it. But it's not perfect. Well, it's not bad. But this one, the last one there, I think, the leg, the final is not completely under both of the legs of the X. I even put the year on it. I didn't sign it. I'm thinking I might put my initials in that little space there. There's the charm that came with the chart. But yeah, Sweetheart Tree does beautiful, beautiful designs. Very intricate, but I love them. I do have many of them already done. This would be probably number 4 or 5. No, I have at least 2 quatrails. I did the Chubby Nutcracker. I got the Don't Panic, Now Panic and Freak Out. Let's see if we can zoom over there. That's both of the 3 of those are Sweetheart Trees, right there. So yeah, I do like me a Sweetheart Tree pattern. So that's one of the designers that I found has kind of slipped away. You don't know what they're doing anymore. I don't know if she's still designing. Let me know. Let me know in the. I have a lot. I have a project bag full of Sweetheart Tree things already kitted up. So I don't need any more. But, you know, you just want people to keep doing what they love. So please, I hope she's still designing. Okay, so that was my finish. Let me go put it over there, and then I'm going to show you my haul. Okay, well now I feel bad because the Queen of Hearts hasn't been ironed yet, but anyways, there was a lot more up there until this afternoon. Yeah. Okay. So, haul. Okay. Few things. I was watching Needleberry Stitcher, Kathryn, and she is planning on starting a kit that she got from Luca S. And it's a beautiful kit. Gorgeous. I believe it's called Spring Fairy. But it's a horse and a woman, and they're yeah, it's just a gorgeous pattern. And I decided to go to 123 Stitch and put it on my wish list, as I do. And while I was there, I have a bunch of things in my cart that I've, you know, picked up this pattern, and it's like, oh, I need these threads. So I go onto 123, add them to my list. I look at my DMC floss and which ones am I missing, and I throw those on there. And yeah, so I had things in my cart, and as I'm on 123, as I do, I look at today's sales, today only. And if there's anything on there that really grabs my attention, that's when I will push buy. And there was something on there. So I got a few things. One of these was from that sale. And a few of these were to kit up other things. Let's get rid of the noisy bag. Okay. DMC, just replenishing stock. And this pattern, M, letter M by Nora Corbett. And I have plans to stitch that possibly for somebody. And I got the Classic Colorworks required for that fairy. And it turns out that it's also used in this other fairy that I have. I already had it in my stash, but and some sulky threads that are required for a pattern that my husband got me. So I'll show you what he got me. And that is the Leeds House Sampler. So I'll be putting, now that I showed you, I can put the threads in here. I have some fabric as a, that might work. But the kit that I bought, because it's on sale today only, Fantastico Flamingo by Luca S. I looked at it and I went away and I looked at it and I was like, you know what, it's beautiful. And so I went ahead and bought it. So I would love to start this real soon. I opened it up just to have a look. I just pulled out one of the cards and I had a look. And I pulled out the pattern to have a look. It's a large print pattern. It's one of those double, you unfold the sheet. But it also has a QR code for a digital download. And so I have the digital download. And I was playing in Pattern Keeper this morning, and it is now in my Pattern Keeper. It is, so far as I could tell, gonna work okay in Pattern Keeper. Obviously backstitching and those things might be an issue, but man, the only other thing that I'm concerned about is black fabric. So it's black 16 count, I think. Yeah, it's 16 count. And I'm thinking, well, I'm working on the fungi sal, which is also a 16 count, so let's see how annoyed I become with black fabric. Which, I mean, as you can tell, I've gone back and forth, like I get tired of it, but I pick it up again. It's not like I gave up on it, right? So, yeah. Yeah. Now, I also need to give a proper shout out to Natasha at, excuse me, while I get all this stuff. Natasha, Breeches Get Stitches. I am so sorry that I rushed through the bag last video. It's a great bag. I've used it already. This is what I had my Shamrock sampler in, and it's the perfect size for an 11 by 11 Q snap or a 8 by 11 Q snap, whatever. I love it. I was debating what I was going to put in it next. I feel like this might be, that might be its home. We'll see. Yeah. And, yeah, when am I going to start it? I don't know. We'll see. Now I also have this empty project bag from this is my project bag. It had Dressmaker's Daughter in it. So I'm going to put in my fairies from Nora. And I have these two colors of fabric that I pulled out this morning. I thought, oh, you know, Crystal Herald, it's got the sparkle, you know, maybe that. But then I also have this, I think it's 32 count fabric that I dyed myself, and it's purple. And the person I'm making this for, her favorite color is purple. And so I'm leaning more towards this for those fairies. Yeah, so, you know, those might get started sooner or later. We'll see. Apparently they're pretty quick stitches. So were the reindeer. But, yeah, 76 by 128. We'll see. Okay, now I think I have covered everything, and people are texting me now, and yeah. So I plan on, you know, I sweetie, I'm big supporter of stitch what you want when you want, if you can, you know. Most importantly, take care of yourself. This is a hobby. Don't stress about it. If you get it done, you get it done. I've stopped making things with deadlines for people because it's like, no. For the majority of it, I'm stitching for me. If it happens to be something that somebody else likes, or I think of somebody else for it, okay. But I don't like being told what to stitch. So, yeah, that's why one of the reasons why I don't do Whip Go or any of those anymore, because I don't like being told what to do. So then I tend not to do it. The game with the Monopoly game, it's kind of fun because it's just changing up. It's bringing a new project in to focus for a few minutes. You know, well, you know, in the crafting, in cross stitch, it's a few minutes. But yeah. So I'm rambling now, and this is never going to get uploaded if I don't sit down and edit it, and now it's getting later, so until next time, take care of each other. Happy stitching. Bye.